Hello, everyone. How are we doing today? I have a special guest with me today, my daughter Selah. And I'm just going to double check that our sound is working before we get started. We are going to do a fun craft together today. Come on. Lately, it doesn't let me push play. That's weird. And there we go. Okay, it is working. Great. Awesome. Well, if you're just joining us, please leave us a comment in the box below. Who you are, where you're watching from. We would love to know all of those things. It's always fun to see all the people that are joining us from all over the different places in the United States and even in the world. So today we're going to be making these fun ornaments. They're a quilted ornament. And if you haven't ever made one of these, they look really complicated, but they are super duper easy and really fun to make. And Selah made this one. Didn't she do such a beautiful job? I love it. So much fun. So we're going to kind of show you some tips and tricks and things to avoid when you're making these. And let's get to it. So, do you have anything you want to say?
Grab a thimble.
A thimble. A thimble is helpful. Okay, let's change our camera view here real quick. Okay, so we have some fun tools here that can help you with this, but go ahead and grab a bag. So we had some of these pre-made kits, but I think that these are our last two, aren't they?
No, I think we have one more.
We have one more. So if you want one of these pre-made kits, we have one more. Otherwise, you're going to need a styrofoam ball, and I believe these are like a 3 or a 4-inch ball. Let's see if it doesn't roll away on me. And some ribbon. And then some pins. We have these little flat head pins and one ballpoint pin, right? Yep. Cool. And then we also need some fabric. So these pieces are 2.5-inch squares, and we need 8 for our center blocks, 16 for the next row. So you can see with this block here, we've got 4 in the center, and then 8 that goes around the outside, and then 8 more that go around the very outside. And then you're going to double that because you're going to make one on either side of this ball. And then we also have a strip of fabric. This is probably about a 2-inch strip, and then ironed into thirds so that we have those clean edges, and we'll show you how to finish it all off. Okay. All right, Selah, what do we do first?
So, you take your stack that has 8 pieces of fabric in them, and you place it on the wrong side facing you.
Okay.
So, the right side is on your flat surface.
Okay, so we're going to put the right side of the fabric down. So some fabric have a printed side like this, and some have just blah, 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 if my words would work. Some fabric is just dyed through and through like a solid, so there's not a wrong or right side to that, but some have a wrong side. So for the ones that do have a wrong side, we're going to put the right side down and do what?
And then you're going to fold it in half. It doesn't matter which way, but I prefer this way. And then you crease it really well.
Okay.
And then you fold it in half again, so you're making a smaller square.
Okay. Oh, look, mine's a perfect little present.
And then you unfold it.
Okay.
And now you grab a pin and you poke it through the center. That's why all the folding is needed.
Okay. So all that folding is needed so that we can find the center of our blocks so that we can put the pin right in the center. I'm not sure if everyone can hear you or not, so I'm just repeating. Okay, and then
you find your center of your ball, which ours are pretty well marked.
Yeah.
Though mine looks a little off
Okay.
Anyway, you stick it right in the middle.
Okay.
Which I go just a little off.
Just a little off the center.
And then
Let's just check your volume real quick. And I'm just going to double check that our sound is working. Whoops. Just checking Selah's sound here real quick. Maybe. Just checking Selah's sound here real quick. Say something.
hello.
Say something. There we go. Okay, you can hear her pretty well. Leave us a comment if you can hear her okay. All right.
And then, so you have this flat square on your ball. And then you fold it in half downward.
Okay.
And then, here's the the funnest part to me. You fold it in half towards the crease.
Okay, so we're going to make a little triangle.
Yep. And then you grab a pin.
Okay.
And you pin that part down.
Okay. So pin the outside corner down.
Yep.
And this is where your thimble might come in handy so that when you're pushing all these pins in, it's not killing your fingertips.
And then you do the exact same thing to the other side.
Okay. And we have another tutorial on this on our YouTube channel. So if you need a more condensed version of how to make these, you can go over there and watch it. So far we have this little triangle that has a pin in the center and the outsides.
Yep.
Yep.
And so you're probably holding it like this. You want to turn it all the way around so it's opposite you. And then you do your folding process once again.
Okay.
So have your wrong side facing you, fold it in half, crease it well, fold it in half again.
Do you need to iron these to crease it or just
You can just
finger press
it.
Okay.
Because if you iron it, your creases might show too well.
Okay.
And that might be a problem.
So then we're going to put a pin right there in the center again.
Yep. My ball tends to roll a ton.
Yep.
So you have your other piece of fabric.
Okay.
And you want to hold it like this.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're going to put the pin in directly on the other side.
So opposite of the first one we did?
Yes.
Okay.
Which my hands are super shaky. Cannot put it. Oh my goodness gracious.
Maybe if you do it with your right hand?
Yeah. Okay, here we go. And then you're just going to make the same thing.
Okay.
But you want to make it so you have a little bow tie at the end.
So mirroring the other side.
Yes.
So we're going to fold it down so that it mirrors the other side and do the exact same step where we fold it in and then pin down that corner. And then fold down that other side.
And sometimes you can get it so it's a straight shot. Other times you can't.
So you should see that it looks like there's a seam running down the center, right?
Yep. Mine's a little off, but that's
okay.
And then, oh my goodness. You're going to make a bow tie just filling in these two spaces.
Okay, so same steps. Fold in quarters, finger press, find that center, open it back up, put a pin in that center mark, stick it in the center of the ball, and
so your main goal with this second bow tie is just to cover up your white
okay,
with the side creases.
So right here where you're folding your corner down, you don't want to see the styrofoam. So make sure that the fold stays over, and you can even overlap your other piece a little bit if needed. That way you don't see that white styrofoam. Right?
Yep.
Okay. And so your seam's going to look a lot wider
Yes.
than the first one.
Yes.
So you might want to make your first one a little bit wider than we did so that it's not like, look at mine, it's huge.
Yeah, mine is pretty good, but I made both of these ones. So.
Yep.
I've been doing this all week.
She's been making these all week. Having fun. So with these ones that you made, this one has a really wide star in the middle, and this one has a really tiny star in the center. So do you have any suggestions on that? Do you like the smaller one than the bigger one, or do you think one's better than the other?
I personally like the bigger one because at the end, when you have to put your whatever this is called around it, because that is our last step to covering the white styrofoam, you have to overlap it at the end so that your bow can go there. But if I take this out, you can see that I had to overlap it a little bit and I did it wrong. And so that's technically what you call doing it wrong. But I had to do that because I didn't center my bow ties correctly.
Okay.
So.
And didn't you have trouble trying to get your star to look even too?
Yes, I did. But I didn't have a seam gauge or whatever that's called.
So a seam gauge is another tool that could be really helpful, and we're going to show you why in just a second. But another thing that you could have done with this one is just did another layer of your points around this so that when you put your strip in the middle, these would have been covered up still.
Yeah, I didn't have enough fabric to do that.
Yeah. The kit didn't have enough fabric, but you could also take this back off and put another layer of fabric on.
Yes.
Because they're all made with pins, it's very easy to redo your mistakes. So it's great for a little kid preteen project, Maybe not a kid. Well, you made them when you were little too, remember?
Yeah,
you were like 9. So do you think it's easier now though that you're a little bit older?
Yes, because I have a lot better hand-eye coordination than I did then.
I think a lot of the ones that you made on this tree behind us are those that you made when you were 9.
Yep.
And they're beautiful. And what a good little memory to have your grandkids make or your little kids make with you, and then you can mark it with their age or something. And
so did you do both sides or just that one side?
Just the one side.
Okay.
We'll just focus on that one for the video.
So when you get your both bow ties on, you'll have this square on your ball. And you can kind of see with our balls, it's really nice because there's this really little line going around it. And so you can kind of see with this line to the square if you lined it up pretty well. And I say I did pretty well. So, because this line is where your strip is going to go around. And
when you're finished?
Yes, when we're finished.
Okay, let's do the next step.
Yep.
Okay, so you would do the exact same step on the other side of the ball. And so you could either do that now, or you could just finish one whole star on one side and then flip it over and do the other side. So I'm going to set these extra pieces to the side for a minute, and we're going to go to the next layer.
Yep.
Okay, what do we do there?
So I personally doesn't think it matters which pile you pick from with the last two, because they're going to have one is going to have more, is it the exact same?
Yep.
Yeah, they both have the exact same number of blocks. So it depends on your taste.
So my kit has the exact same fabric for the outside as it does for the center. So I wouldn't want to use that one for my middle layer, right? I'd want to use the red.
Yep, as for me, I have to choose which I think I'm going to choose. the red.
Okay. So we're both going to do red. So we're going to do the exact same step of folding them into quarters so we can find the center. And someone's asking what size ball we use. Do you remember?
4-inch?
Yeah, I think they're a 3 or a 4-inch styrofoam ball. But you honestly could do it with any size ball. You would just need more pieces of fabric or maybe larger pieces of fabric.
Yep.
So if you were doing, say, a 6 to 8-inch ball, I would suggest trying probably a 4.5-inch square to start. That might be a little too big. It might be too small. I don't know. So try it and let us know how it works.
Now,
Okay.
with this step, you don't just randomly put this in on the seam.
Mm-hmm.
You have to keep it spaced so the star does not look really wonky.
Okay.
So what I like to do is put it like right against one of my straight seams for my bow tie, and then scroll the blue down until I think it's a good place.
Okay.
So it depends on how big you want your star.
Ooh, Macy's saying hi.
Yeah. I say that this is a pretty good size.
So you're just going to leave that blue and kind of keep an eye of where you marked it. So you've got 1.5 inch.
Yeah.
So I'll do 1.5 inch too. So then we're going to stick that center. We could also use our ball pin and stick it in that hole and stick it in the center of our block just to kind of help hold our place. Now this isn't necessary. If you don't have a seam gauge, you could just use the width of your finger or mark it some other way where they're all going to be the same.
What I did, this ball I did, I stuck this, my ballpoint pin in the place where I wanted it, and then I, with some scissors, cut a little box on the end.
A little notch?
Yeah, a little notch. And then I would just stick it in and rotate it how I needed to.
Perfect. Okay, so I put my ballpoint pin in the seam gauge, and I've got it at 1.5. And then I'm going to mark with my fabric marker where I want these to go. So you're going to mark every seam going down. That's why we have 8.
Which I'm going to do a little more, actually.
Are you? Okay.
I'm going to do it too.
So this is the cool thing about these. You can be as creative as you want to be. Do them however size you want.
Yep.
We've done some where that center, this next row that we're working on, we've done it with 2 different kinds of fabrics going opposite of each other, and it makes a totally different design. It's pretty cool.
Yep.
Now the marker is not going to show up on your fabric. So are you just going to leave your seam gauge on there?
And with this second layer, it is okay if the corners overlap quite a bit. And that will actually help you so you don't have as much white to cover up in the end.
Okay, cool.
And then instead of making another bow tie, you'd go every single seam in like that is running off of your bow.
Okay. So does this fabric kind of overlap each other then?
Yes. Quite a bit.
Quite a bit. All right. So if your kids are home for the holidays in a couple weeks and they're off school and they need a project to do, this would be a fun one to do.
Macy's agreeing.
And for those who are new, Macy is our 4-year-old Papillon, and she's our little mascot here in the studio. She's always shadowing me, huh?
And yapping at everything.
Yep. She's pretty yappy. She loves to talk, loves to sing.
Yeah, we'll sing like Jingle Bells, and she'll dance with us and bark along.
So funny.
Yeah, my seams overlapped quite a bit, as you can see. This point was for this block, and this point is for this block.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they're going to overlap quite a bit.
I kind of did mine opposite, like a bow tie again, because I couldn't see where I marked one of my things. So I'll put them on the ones I can see and then remeasure.
Yep.
These make great little gifts for teachers or coaches, things like that, so the kids can be included in making their gift.
Instead of just going to the store and spending $5.
Right?
And you have something to do while you're listening to a podcast or watching TV.
Yeah. We don't sit very still, do we?
Nope.
We like to be busy, even if we're watching a movie.
Yep.
Keep our hands busy with a project. You've also been starting to crochet, haven't you?
Yeah.
Making some cool stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we brought thimbles, but so far we aren't using them.
Not very much.
I guess my fingers got used to poking them in.
Mm-hmm. Double check that that one is correct. It's just a little high. There we go.
Oh.
Ooh, that one's pretty.
Yeah.
I like the black and gold sparkle fabric.
Yeah, the red really makes that pop.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I just keep grabbing the wrong pin.
Yeah.
Keep grabbing the ball.
Yeah. I have taken the ball one out before and just put it on the lid somewhere where it won't get knocked.
So far, I just have an X because I just did the opposite. So that's a new design that I didn't think of. You could just do it like that.
Yeah. You could.
You could. I'm not gonna, but you could.
I'm not gonna. You're funny.
All right. Here's where I need to double check. It just looks so much higher than the sides.
Mm-hmm.
The diagonal one looks a lot higher.
Mm-hmm. And if you want to try out with different sizes, you can. It just depends on how wonky you want your star to be, or it could look really cool.
Yeah.
Like it's sparkling or shining or whatever you want to call it.
Look like a Star of Bethlehem or something.
Yeah.
With the high points.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's getting there. It's kind of hard to tell until you're done with this first layer.
Yes, it does.
That's why it's good that it's removable.
Yes.
It didn't glue it down.
It is very helpful. But if you do stick a pin in the same spot a million times, it will come out easier.
Mm-hmm.
And that's workable.
Yeah.
As we were trying to hang those other ornaments that we made.
Mm-hmm.
The ribbons kept falling off because they were in the box for so long, just rattling around, and the pins got loose.
I think that the ones that we finished, and we didn't finish those ones all the way. We put a drop of glue on the ballpoint pin before we stuck it in so that the ribbon wouldn't pull out.
Yeah, that's probably smart.
Yep. I'll have to get the hot glue gun out.
Wow, no melting me.
Okay, we're almost done with this layer. And then we can do the last layer so we can show you how to finish them.
My ball does not like being on camera. It is very,
Keeps
rolling
rolling away. Yeah, you need to come up here. They can't see you. What's your favorite thing about Christmas, Selah?
The good smells in the kitchen. The songs.
Mm-hmm.
And all the activities being over.
We get a break.
Yes.
Okay, moment of truth. Ooh,
Almost done.
Your star looks good. I feel like mine might be a little wonky.
Maybe a little bit. But it's kind of hard to tell with that kind of
It
fabric.
is. Yeah. It's weird. This half of my star is gray and this is more yellow.
Yeah. But that's a good thing about fabric.
Yeah.
You could make it so if you do mess up, it's hard to see.
There you go.
And if it is easy to see, then you can fix it. Because our handy jack has been used a lot.
Our best friend, Jack the Ripper.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. You don't really need him for this project, though.
Yep, he gets a Christmas break as well.
There's my little star. Kind of hard to tell with that kind of fabric. So that's another point is you might want to use a more solid colored fabric than all of this crazy colored fabric for your middle points.
Yep. And mine is pretty solid.
Mm-hmm. I love it.
Yeah. Maybe a little wonky, but... Can't get it in there.
So then these last 8 pieces, those are going to go on the other side, right?
Where's my star?
Oh, that's so pretty. She did so good. Okay, so now we're going to do the next layer, right?
Yep, and you will want to grab your other colors.
Okay.
Unless you want all red on one side and all presents on the other.
Yep.
Which would look silly.
So I'm just going to pre-fold a couple of them.
Yeah, I like to keep going because then it gives my fingers a break from doing the same thing over and over again.
True.
Because after a while, it does hurt your fingers. But then with this, you can't use the pin anymore because then you'd be sticking it in each one every single time. So you just got to be very careful.
Well, you could still do it from the center and then scoot your measurement down.
Yeah, that's true. So have it at 4 inches instead of 2.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Or wherever you want.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
just putting our seam gauges back in there and then moving our point down. I think I'm going to go 3.5 inches.
What was your first measurement? 1.5.
Mm-hmm.
Then you would do you do 3.
The bad thing is with this being a sphere, it's hard to get it in the right spot.
That's why I popped my
Yep.
thing so it's not tight against the ball.
But you could go around and just mark them,
Yes.
line it up with that second row, and I think I'm going to mark them all at 1.5.
You can.
Okay. This marker is dying on me. Let's try this side.
Yeah, this seam gauge has been very helpful.
Good.
The
Okay.
last 2 balls, I just have done it with the ribbon, and ribbon is very hard to finagle at times.
Mm-hmm.
And then your points will be different sizes depending on how tight you pull on it. So
Right.
this is less frustrating.
Good. Now I'm going to try to move this fabric so all the yellow is going to show through.
Lindsay, I just messed up as well.
How'd you mess up?
This is how wrinkly.
No.
I don't want my star to be an old granny.
It's an old granny star.
Hey. Hush. She wants to tell you everything.
So you're just folding the corners back to line up with that seam, right? So that it runs through.
Yep.
It looks like it's been sewn.
Mm-hmm. Which thankfully it's not. Imagine how complicated that would be.
Yeah.
Mom was making this flower that had a circle center, and that was a little frustrating, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Macy.
Macy, hush.
She wants to do it as well.
If you're watching the replay, comment #replay. We'd love to know who's been watching us and if this has been a helpful tutorial for you. And we'd love to see if you make one of these. We have a free Facebook group on Facebook, obviously, called Your Quilting Journey Show and Tell page. So come join us over there and show us what you've been making.
It would be very silly if we called it a Facebook page and it was on Instagram.
Yeah. That would be silly.
Yes.
Just kind of rolls over on the heavy side, doesn't it?
Yes.
Whoop.
We'll never stay up. The last 2 balls I've done on the couch, so I haven't done this on a hard surface.
Mm-hmm.
So, experience. And if your points are off, it just gives it more context.
Character.
That's what I meant.
More character. Yep. I agree. So don't be too perfectionist. Have fun making these, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of relaxing.
Yes. It is.
Don't have to think about it too hard.
It's like crocheting.
Yeah.
You just do it, and then it's done.
Hush. She's so loud today.
She thinks I'm supposed to play with her.
Oh. Taking a break from school, you should be playing with me, not with Mom. Right? It's a good little recess break.
Yep. They'll probably do the other half during school.
Perks of being homeschooled.
Yes.
Okay, that's enough. Hush. Go lay down. All right. Are you almost there? Halfway?
Yeah. Okay.
I think I have one more.
New. That's never happened to me before.
Yeah. So you kind of have to be careful where you put them, huh?
Yeah.
So that it covers all the seams and the raw edges. There you go.
Have to scoot this one over. Just this. Different. They like to squeak
Mm-hmm.
quite a bit.
So the point of folding them over is just to cover up the raw edges of the layer before it. So don't be too perfectionist about the seam here being the exact same dimension as the one before it. If you can see mine, we've got some thicker seams here and then some narrower, can't talk, narrower, is that a word?
Yes.
So don't be too perfectionist about it. Just fold that over, make sure it covers up the raw edges before you pin it down.
Because we don't want it to say, I'm raw.
Yeah, no raw edges. Okay, there's mine.
Yeah, that looks really cool.
Yeah, it turned out pretty good. I think the red in the center is kind of more the star that you're going to focus on than the center one.
Yes.
Where this one is definitely the center star.
Yes.
And even this one
is more the outside.
So, yeah, so cool. And then you do the exact same steps on the opposite side of the ball. Then when you're done with that, you're going to wrap it with your little strip of fabric. And so I just start it, and I'm going to show you how to do it, but I would do this after I was done with the other side so that I could hide all the raw edges on both sides together. And if your piece of fabric isn't wide enough to cover it, you can just re-iron it and just iron these a little less or cut a bigger piece. Whatever you need to do to be able to cover these up. But this is measuring, let me just double check that, 1.5 inches. Okay, so I'm just going to cover up the raw edges and stick a couple pins in the top.
Oh, I think I might have been using centimeters, not inches.
That's okay.
Yeah, because I was using 4 centimeters, and on the inch side is 1.5. A little more than 1.5.
Okay, so as you put this strip around, you're going to tuck in all those raw edges of the blocks, making sure that all of them are getting hidden, and it's going to overlap a little bit. So then once we get to this end, then I'm going to tuck it in so that that raw edge is hidden as well. And you can either stick your pins just right on top, or you can try to hide them by sticking them in the side of that fold so that you can hide them under that fold. Just like that. And you would do that on both sides to kind of hold it down. There we go. So all those raw edges are hidden. So when I go to do the other side, I'm going to take this back off, and then I'll do that once both sides are done. But just for time purposes, I wanted to show you how to do that. And then for the bow.
Yeah, I want to show them how to do that too.
Okay.
I'm almost done as well.
Why don't you skip to the bow next?
Yep. That's what I was going to do.
Because we are 41 minutes in already.
Wow.
If you've been watching this whole time, thank you.
My ball.
So cute.
So yeah, you can see that there are some lines that they're pretty consistent, but this one is a lot wider. But so yeah.
Okay, let's grab our bows.
So I have a smaller hand, so my bow is going to be smaller. And I like to just pinch the end in between my index and my middle finger. And then you wrap it around.
How many times?
7 to 8 times, which I'm probably going to do like 10.
As many as you want then, huh?
Yeah. Just leave enough for your hanger and how big you need that to be, because this little tree in the background was really fluffy and it was really hard to pin it.
So you're going to wrap the ribbon around your hand as many times as you want, leaving a tail enough to be your ornament's hanger.
Yes.
Okay.
And then what I like to do is just flip it around and make my loop like this.
Oh.
And then you have your loop. And then I pinch it down, which you can get that back in there as well. And then
could you do this where you just bring the tail to the center somewhere and then flip it up like that?
Yep.
Okay. And then you're going to put the ball point through all of them?
Yep.
Trying not to get your fingers.
My goodness, that was hard. And that was not even all of them.
And you have to go through the bottom layer too, right? So you take it off your hand and you have this loop with another little loop for your hanger, and you're going to put the ball point through all of those loops.
So that you have this little, like, bow tie looking thing.
Okay.
So, right now, this is what mine looks like with
Cute.
the tail. And so, you're going to put that wherever.
On the fold here?
Yes, on your fold, which I'm just going to stick it in a spot. And
probably put a dollop of hot glue or some other kind of glue on that pin so it stays.
And you can trim this once you get it railed out. Or you could do it right now. I don't think it would matter. And then you just take each piece and pull it around in a circle. Well, not even a circle. You just
kind of fluff it out.
Yeah.
Ooh, my bow's tiny.
Yeah, some of my bows turned out really tiny. Some of them turned out great. Some of them, not so much. you can tell like your first startings, and then it gets looser, and then it looks really weird like that.
And that's how you make a quilted ornament.
Yep.
That is so fun.
And
Great job.
yeah, this is what a good-ish bow looks like.
Goodish.
But I really like how the part stands up.
Yeah.
But this is my halfway
Really cute.
finished one.
So we just need to finish the other side, and then we can glue this together. And
Yep.
but we've got our bow all set and ready to go.
Which might fall apart if we don't put it down carefully.
Yep. Cool.
But that is how you make a quilted ornament.
Let's change the camera view here so we can say goodbye to you. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us. I know this was a lot longer of a live video than normal, but we wanted to show you exactly how to put these together. And I hope that that was helpful. If you made one for yourself or for a friend, take a picture of it and show us on our Facebook show and tell page, Your Quilting Journey show and tell page. Go look that up. So thanks so much for joining us. I think we have one more live next week before we take a break for Christmas, but I hope that you guys are doing well, staying healthy, and ready for all the fun holiday fun stuff going on. All right, we'll talk to you later. Bye.